Good afternoon, everyone. This is Terry from Talent Art and Design. Hope everybody had a great day. I'd like to show you, this is what I used to use for a garden journal. First of all, I didn't notice this when I was using it. It's upside down. But, I mean, talk about basic. Okay, so, I used to just write down things that I needed to buy at the store. It says mulch. And I always did like a little to-do list, different things I needed to, obviously I needed to weed. I worked on my corner garden. I worked behind the garage. And I, just like I do now, I work in sections in my garden. I don't do everything all at once. I do one little area at a time. Like yesterday was a beautiful day. It had rained most of the weekend, but my husband and I were able to get out onto our deck. And clean it off, and I was able to, I had gone last week and got a bunch of plants. And I was able to, I bought 2 hostas, but I split them in half, so I ended up with 4, because you can do that with hostas. They're very hardy plants, they're hard to kill. And I got really nice looking ones. We both liked the color of them. And then I ended up with like a little extra piece, so I actually ended up with 5 hostas, which was great. And then I have a bunch of annuals that I need to plant out front, and I have some herbs. I'm going to start an herb garden. So I would just keep track of areas that I wanted to work in, the types of gardens that I was working in. Like this is the vegetable garden. These were perennial gardens. And then different plants that I wanted to buy. And then different things that I wanted to finish. Little tasks that I needed to do out in the yard. And as I was done with them, I would cross them off, and then when I was done with the whole page, I would exit out. I'm not going to do that in my garden journal. I don't want to make a mess out of it. This was just, you know, kind of like what they call like a bullet journal, where you're just keeping lists. So that's all I did in this. Let's see. And then, you know, different trees, shrubs, and grasses that I wanted to buy. And then that was the backyard. This was the front yard, and the different types of things I needed to do, wanted to do, and types of plants that I wanted to buy. And then another to-do list. Like I would come up with a to-do list for the day that I was working and try to work my way through each task until I was finished. And if I didn't finish it, I would just continue on another day. But it just helped me stay organized. So it was very helpful. And then I actually, this was my vegetable garden that I actually planned out. What this is this is the left side, and that was the right side of the garden. It was a pretty good sized garden. And I had trellises that went up in the middle on both sides. And then I would put my zucchini and my squash out on the sides of the garden so that they could vine out and not take over my whole garden. But we grew quite a bit of vegetables, and I used to do some canning, and we had vegetables all summer long. It was wonderful, and I'd like to get to that point here. We're not anywhere near there right now. I think I'm going to buy a few raised beds, and we're going to start there for vegetables. Right now, I'm just trying to do my perennials and my annuals, and then I will think about that. Because I'm going to be starting late this season, I'm going to have to buy plants that are already established, and that's fine. And I'm not going to buy as many as I probably will next year. As long as I get some, I would like to be able to make a nice salad from my garden. And I'll put flowers around the edges and things like that too. So that's how I used this. So far, all I have done was, like, I went and I bought a bunch of stuff last week. I bought 2 hostas. I got 6 marigolds, 2 vinca vines, 2 dahlias, 6 coleus, light variety, 2 coleus, and I don't think that's even how you spell it, dark variety, 12 petunias, and then I got 3 different kinds of herbs. Because I'm going to be growing lettuces from seed, but these are already established plants, and it just makes it easier. I'm going to start a little herb garden. I used to grow a lot of herbs, but it turns out I only use basil, chives, and oregano. I don't use rosemary. I have dried rosemary in my cabinet, and I have a lot of it still left over, and I don't really use it, so why grow it? You know? So this is where I'm starting with this year. So this is my garden journal. I absolutely love it. I think it came out beautiful. I've got some dangles with beads. I decorated the front. The cover is made out of one of those accordion ephemera holders. What I did was I ripped off the cover. I did keep the accordion part of it, and I made something else out of that. But I just thought this was beautiful. I didn't have to do much with the cover because it was already decorated like that. I put some metal corner protectors, front and back. I reused the ribbon that was already on there. This was from Dollar Tree, just a pretty label. Love that. And then I just added a bunch of paper flowers. I think it's beautiful. And I had a lot of fun making this. So what I want to do is show you how I'm going to use this. Let's see, this is a giant tag. We're going to be building a rose trellis. And we're going to have some evergreens and some lilacs. And that'll give us a natural privacy border. And then I'm going to have azaleas in the front on both sides. And then we'll have a place to put, we think we're going to buy one of those smokeless little fire pits. And we'll put 2 chairs there. And it will be a nice place. We could hang some pretty lights there. This is later on down the line. But this is just, I drew it out. And someday I hope that we can make that come true. So that's kind of like a little dream thing there. And this is just extra paper to draw things out. Yeah, this is my old garden. We had one of those big round trellises. We had a bird bath underneath, and I was growing cucumbers and morning glories on it. And I grew cherry tomatoes in the back on straight trellises. This was one of those big curved things. And then we just had tomatoes, peppers. We had zucchini and squash, which I always put on the corners or the sides of my garden if I have a large garden. And then herbs across the front, some lettuces, spinach, and then flowers, marigolds all the way across, because marigolds keep rabbits out of your garden. So I just kept it because it was cute, and it reminded me of my old garden. So this is just extra paper, and I'll just keep things like that in here. And when I want to draw out something, I have extra paper right there. And this just says cottage garden. It says, wherever life plants you, bloom with grace. Love that. This was so much fun to do. I'm not gonna, there's a whole series on this garden journal, and you can go back to my garden journal playlist and they're all there. I'm not gonna flip through this whole thing. I'm just gonna look for a place where I can write a list, like right here. Okay, I'm gonna say split 2 large hostas and I ended up with 5 plants. And then I bought 6 marigolds, 2 vinca vines, 2 dahlias. The dahlias, I'm going to keep those in pots, and I'm going to put them on the tables on either side of my, I have a love seat out on my deck. I think those will look pretty, just potted in pots. I was telling my husband yesterday, I have a focus for when I go to a thrift store now. I'm looking for ceramic pots, decorative pots. That's what I'm looking for. So, and I see them all the time, but I wasn't thinking about them, but now I am. And I hope now when I go back, I'll still be able to find some. So, hey Google, how do you spell coleus?
Coleus is spelled C-O-L-E-U-S.
Wow, I would never have guessed that. Huh. Thank you. Let's see, and then I got 2 Coleus dark. And I got 12 petunias. And herbs. I got basil, chives, and oregano. Awesome. Okay, so see, this is a perfect place to write. Let's see. So, let's see. Something else that we've already done was, let's see. I'm gonna do a to-do, and so far we've gotten 4 bags of mulch. All right, I'm gonna put 525. And we need, I think we're probably going to need 10 more bags. $10 bags left to buy, and then we should be fine. So I already bought that. Let's see. We bought tree fertilizer sticks, and I don't use them for trees. I mean, you can use them for trees, and I have used them for trees, but what I do is I break them up, and I dig a hole next to a new plant that I've planted, and it just makes the plant go crazy. It really helps them to establish and to grow. So let's see, we planted 4 zebra grasses, and I need to add, they've come up and they took, but I really want to help them grow and establish. So I will be adding pieces of the fertilizer sticks in the ground next to each one of those grasses. So we've already gotten those. So what I want to do is, I do want to go ahead and I want to draw something out here. Let's find, I don't know if I'm going to find a flat spot in here. Probably not. So let's just move this over, and I can just write on here. What I want to do is, the front of our yard, it goes like this. And here's the driveway. Is over there. And so far we've put 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's like a pine tree here. There's another pine tree here. And then there's, in the middle, is a really large maple tree. Really large. I mean, it's huge. So what we need is, we're going to put a few more zebra plants in between there. We're going to put some here. There's another big roundish bush here. It's like a big round bush. We're going to put three there, 2 there, so we'll have 9. These are zebra grasses. I'm just going to put Z equals zebra grasses. And they grow to be about 5 feet high. And they look beautiful. And even in the winter when they die and they're dry, they still look pretty. In the spring, though, before they start to come up again, you have to cut them completely down to the ground. You got to get in between and get all the leaves out and the dead grass. So, and I did that, and now they're coming back beautifully. So I watched a YouTube video on it, and I'm glad that I listened to that. Okay, so that's what I want to do. So and then eventually, I'm just going to draw one of these gardens. We're gonna duplicate this 3 times. So what I want to have in the back is tiger lilies, because they're the tallest ones of the plants that I want to do. Let's see. I know in the middle I want to do 4 o'clocks. We'll do a row of those, 4 o'clocks. 4 o'clocks. Let's see. So these are the tall ones. These would be the middle ones. And then in front, I'm going to have, and I'm also thinking about color because tiger lilies are orange. 4 o'clocks are purple. And then I want to have, I shouldn't have put that circle around there. I should have just left it, but it's whatever it is. It doesn't matter. The next thing that I want, and I know in the front I want, these are yellow. But it's Stella D'oro. Stella D'oro. We're going to have a row of those. And those are on the bottom. And then there was something I wanted in these are dark purple and these are light purple. So orange, purple, and yellow, they go beautifully together. Light purple, lavender. So this is, and then we're gonna, I should never put that on there, but it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna draw this like this. So this is gonna be a garden bed. This is gonna be one of them. Oh, and the other thing we're gonna be doing is, you can't tell that there's quite a bit of space in between each one of these. We're going to be putting hostas in between these, because these grow tall and these are short, but they're round. So we'll be putting hostas, and then we'll have hosta here in between. I'll probably put, let's see, no, we're just going to do 3 there, and the same thing here. Hostas, 1, 2, 3, and there's, just so you know, that there's some smaller bushes on the outskirts. Some of them we're going to rip out, and some of them we're going to keep. I just kind of want, I love the movement of the zebra grass. We live in Kingston. We're 15 minutes from Plymouth in Massachusetts, and we get an ocean breeze down here. So the zebra grass all summer long, it's just going back and forth, and it just looks beautiful. But it's tall to give us a little bit of privacy. Excuse me, but the hosta is nice because it'll fill in. So what we'll do is, eventually, my husband will dig this whole thing out, and we will have mulch. There'll be mulch all through this, so he doesn't have to use his ride-on mower to get near there, or his weed whacker. It'll be dug out with mulch, and these plants will be established. Don't have to do a thing to them except for pruning back the zebra plants in the spring. Hostas, you don't have to do anything to them. And the other thing you can do with hostas is you can break them up and separate them, and you can use them all throughout your yard. I do this quite a bit with plants. So I think that would be nice. So this is going to be a garden bed. And what we're going to do is, once we establish one garden bed, the first year, this summer, we're going to be doing one garden bed. And we're going to probably put some, garden stones around it. I don't know if we wanted an oval. That's why I put an oval there. I was thinking maybe an oval shape, but it might end up being a rectangle. I don't know yet. We have options. I'm going to put question mark whether I want an oval or a square. I don't know yet. Let's see. Oval or a square. Okay. So once we establish one garden like this, we're going to be making 2 more. So there'll be one here. This is where we're going to start, right here on this side. We're going to have a garden bed there. There's going to be another. It's on this side of the tree, right side of the tree. There'll be another, and the yard is bigger on the left side, so there'll be 2 more garden beds over here. But they're going to have the exact same plants. These are all perennials. You can, once they're established, the next year, you can break these up and move them. So I'm going to take everything that I planted, and I'm going to split it up, and I'm going to recreate another garden the following year, and then I'll do the last garden the next year, and I only have to buy these plants once because they're all perennials and they can all be dug up and split. And it's just a great way to save money, and I want the continuity of the same flowers across the front of our house. And I think between the grasses and the hostas out front with the mulch going across, These are going to be, these beds are going to be more on the inside, so we're going to see them more than anyone else. And that's why I want them on the inside like that, so that, you know, when I'm sitting out in my yard, I can admire those garden beds, and they're not too close to the street, and it'll just be, and as we do these kinds of things, we're going to be reducing the size of our lawn, but by reducing the size of the lawn, he has less to mow. And even when we get to this point where we, on the side of the house, there'll be less for him. He won't even have to mow at all on the side anymore. We'll have this big trellis and all these evergreens and lilacs, and these are all perennials, and they'll fill in that spot, and there won't be any grass for him to cut out there. So that's good. So he'll really only have the front, because in the back of our house, we have a big hill, and we put a bunch of bird feeders and things. We're going to do a water feature out there. Right now we just do little fountains in our bird baths, but eventually I would like to have some type of a little pond with a little waterfall coming down the hill. I think that would be really nice. And the other side, it's just all of my gardening stuff. This is my potting area out behind my house. This is a potting bench that my husband made. There's a little tiny one of those metal greenhouses and 2 green planters. And, you know, that's all we're really going to do on that side. I did plant a whole row of forsythia to give us a little delineation from our neighbor. It's not to block them out, but it's just a nice natural border. This is the row of forsythia that I had mentioned. Once we finish planting these zebra grasses, that's one of the first things that we're going to do. Maybe that's what I'll do, is I'll make another list here. Let's see if I can find something else I can make a list on, because you know I have plenty of stuff in here. Let's see what's in here. Oh, this is a picture of some bleeding hearts. Nope, I'm going to leave that, because that might be a nice place to start a garden. My daughter-in-law gave me these bulbs for bleeding hearts, so I'm going to find a nice place for those. I'm wondering if that's something I can incorporate into this this garden, because those also can be separated. They're a perennial, and they could be moved into those other gardens, but we'll see. Let's see where I can find. I just need something I can write a list on. That's all I'm looking for right now. What do we got here? Again, we've got more roses. Nope. I'm just going to put that back in there. Let's see. Looks like there's something else in there. Let's see. I just want, like, a piece of paper to write on. Let's see what we got. You know, this might be nice. This is like a little booklet, and I could use this to write the things that I need to buy this year in this little booklet, and then when I'm done with it, I can pop it back in and it will be full. Rooting annuals. Oh, those are annuals. I'm talking about perennials right now. Stay focused. So what I think I'm going to do is, this is just a little booklet I made. It's just some book page. Oh, look, it has a unicorn. How pretty is that in a garden? I just took some coffee dyed, tea dyed paper, some graph paper that I coffee dyed, and I made a little booklet out of it. So this is cute, and it's paper to write on, so that's what I was looking for. So what I want to do now is I'm gonna write what I need. Plants to buy. We need. I don't know if I'm going to do all of these grasses this year. I might end up doing, but we'll see. I need 6 zebra grass. Grasses. So I may do 3 and then I'll do 3 again maybe. My daughter and my best friend, when we moved, I had dug up some of I had giant green hostas. They weren't variegated, just green. And I gave some to my friend and I gave some to my daughter. They told me that I could come and dig some of them out so that I don't have to buy hostas. But I'm gonna need, let's see. I need 1, 2, 3 there, 4, 5, 6. I think I need 6 hostas. And I'm gonna write Michelle, this is so I don't forget, Michelle and Kate. And I've got to go to their yards and dig them up. Let's see, what else? I've got to buy some bulbs, probably 6 tiger lilies. I'm gonna need maybe 5 4 o'clocks. Probably 6 lavender. And I'm going to say 8 stelladoros. Because they're small and, you know, you're going to put them across the front. Like I said, the next year I can split them up and move some of them over to that other garden. But this is great. So now I have an idea of when I go to the garden center. Like, we know the place where we bought the zebra grasses. We'll probably go back there to get those. I'll dig up some of the hostas. I'll probably do that over the next few weeks. And then I need to go to the garden center to get tiger lilies, 4 o'clocks, lavender, and stelladoros. So that's great. So what I'll do with this is I'll put it in my pocketbook so that when I go to the store, I know what to buy. And then this was just a little scribble. It's just a little diagram of what I would like to do in the future in my yard. Okay, so I don't know where that came from. Maybe right here. Let's see. I'm going to put it right there so it will hold this. I remember when I made this book, this journal card kept wanting to come out. So let's see if I can. That might hold it in. Yeah, I think it will. All right, so that's the kind of thing that I will be doing with my garden journal as I work through the seasons and different types of, you know, gardens that I'm doing. And I'm also going to be putting a lot of photos in. I have photos of my old garden, which I kept them. I love that garden, and it just reminds me of how much I enjoyed doing that gardening and how beautiful it was. So I'm going to put some photos in my garden journal of another garden that I had made and that I was very proud of. So I think that's all I'm going to do in here today. I have a plan. I have a list of things that I need to buy. I won't be using this anymore. It's a beautiful cover, so I'm thinking I'll take the paper out of it. Maybe I'll coffee or tea dye the paper. And I would take the spine out, and this would be a beautiful cover. Maybe I could make a garden journal for my friend, because she's starting to work in her yard, and she's been doing a great job, and this is a great place to keep track of what you're doing in your garden. So I want to thank you for coming to my channel. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I would love to hear from you and what you think of my garden book. And if you have any tips, gardening tips, I'd love to hear that too. So I will see you in the next video. Happy gardening.